If you're a heat and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what is the body language from your hands that you need to know about and why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California, on a perfect day to talk about sales and business and a fantastic day to talk about you. Okay, there are some nonverbal communication strategies and some body language strategies that you can employ that will help you be more influential in your sales process. And I have been working with salespeople, technicians, entrepreneurs since 2008, working with them on nonverbal communication and body language. So whenever I would do ride-alongs, whenever I work with executives on their presentations, I'm watching their nonverbal communication. I'm watching their body language. And one of the things that we forget about is our hands. Our hands. So let's say that you're meeting with Mrs. Smith, and this is super importante, especially when it comes from a man meeting with a woman. Man to man, not so much. Man to woman, a little bit more importante. Okay, so let's say that you go out to the outdoor unit and the condenser, the heat pump out there is filthy, it's dirty. And so you go out there, you put your hands on it, you do what you gotta do, you go through the capacitator, you go through the contactor, you're looking at the fan blades, you're looking at the refrigerant, and then you're about to go present. You're about to go present to Mrs. Smith. You got a couple of options. A, you can go just like you are. Like, hey, I'm ready to go. B, you can go wash your hands. Like, really? Wash your hands? Yes. Okay, so this little bit of touch shows that you're paying attention. This little bit of touch shows the person you're meeting with that they care. So guys don't think about this. We work on transmissions, we change motor oil, we pull out a water pump on a car, right? Not just exactly heating and air, and we're like, hands dirty, yeah, man stuff, okay? Women don't think that way. They're like, hey, don't touch anything in my house. Don't touch anything you got going on. So here's what you do. You're gonna add this little bit of line into your conversation before you give any type of presentation. And it's gonna be something like this. Hey, before I give you this explanation, would it be all right if I go wash my hands? And guys don't think this way. They don't, but women do. They're like, oh yeah, absolutely. Now, if you're gonna go wash your hands, and you're gonna go touch things in somebody's house, as a man, like all the towels in the house are perfectly okay for you to use. As a woman, that's not true, right? I am making some assumptions, simmer down, this is the way life works. So, you may ask for paper towels. You do not touch the decorative towels inside of the house. Ask me how I know. Oh, I know this because I had to go buy a set of towels for a technician at one point that was doing a ride-along with me that made a big mess. And this right here is why you should join HVACTechSecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. She's like, Scott, how do we do this? Okay, so you say, hey, is it all right if I go wash my hands? And then you're gonna ask, are there specific towels that I could use? And like, I promise you a lot of times we'll be like, hey, let me grab you a couple paper towels, which means don't touch my towels. Don't touch my towels, okay? So this stops somebody from looking at your fingers because you're gonna point at something at some point. It gets them to stop, like, hey, are you gonna touch anything with my house with those dirty hands? And then the brain is like, okay, I can watch you have a conversation because I know your hands are clean and you're not touching my counters that little Jimmy's gonna touch later on. Or you're not touching my counters that I'm gonna make some meatloaf on later on in the day, right? Or you're not touching my counters where I have all my business materials. Whatever the mix, just believe me that it works, okay? Now there's another thing that you wanna do for your body language or your nonverbal communication. The second thing is you wanna make sure your fingernails are trimmed up. Right? You want to make sure you don't have to go to get a manicure. Manicures are awesome, by the way, right? You go into the manicure spot, everybody says hello. It's like Norm on Cheers. Hey, how's it going? And then they're like, hey, do you want a manicure or pedicure? And you go, yes, right? You don't have to go that far. You can just specifically say, hey, I'm just here to get my hands clean. Just get the polish. They'll polish them for you. But cleaning your fingernails, cutting your fingernails, will allow for you to not get gunk, goop, and dirt trapped underneath there and cause you some problems. So is there body language of sales? You're darn right there is. Is there body language of HVAC technicians? Yep. Is there body language of plumbers? Yes, there is. And if you're thinking about this in terms of how do I get people to listen to me instead of looking at my hands going, don't touch my countertop, don't touch my household goods, don't touch anything around me. Like, oh, this tech gets it. Be willing to say, hey, would it be all right if I go wash my hands? Or, hey, let me go wash my hands before I give you a presentation. Now, one of the things, bonus tip for you sticking around, one of the things that I used to do was I used to keep a cleaning bucket. And you could go to like any place that sells makeup, and they got like these little tiny brushes, they're about that big, right? And you kind of buff your fingers with them, and it'll clean from underneath your fingernails. And I tell you, even if you got really short fingernails, you're gonna get dirt underneath there. So I kept a little bit of lotion, I kept a little bit of soap, so that if I was gonna go talk to somebody, my hands were clean, right? It would be like, hey, before we give this presentation, would you be all right if I go wash my hands? Like, just, there is an influence of body language of just washing your hands when it comes to meeting with women. Dudes, for the most part, don't care. They care, but it's not like it's gonna break the deal. For women, it may. You got one of 3 things to do from here, just one of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you gotta do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.